Now, Crystal Palace hadn't lost at Selhurst Park since February. They faced Manchester United, whose recent revival suffered a slap in the face against Everton on Monday.
To turn that game around?
Explains small things, but I think it was clear that just the pace, the intensity of the game, we have to increase that. I also noticed in the end of the first half, and I told that to the players, that they were tired, and you can feel it, and they will drop. If we score a goal, mentally they will suffer.
What are the things that you do to make the most of that?
It's the runs, and you can feel it that Josh was not just connecting the ball, was also to making the runs. We win a second ball. They have more difficulties to recover from pressing and then recover for the second half, for the second ball, and just explain that to the players, and we took advantage quite well in the second half.
Tell me about the quality of both of those goals, though, from Xerxes and Mount.
No, unbelievable goals. Obviously, I think the Josh one, I didn't even thought he could score from there. It was a hell of a strike.
I think if you play the first time in your history European football, then you should invest and not save. I think January is too late. It's then we have played more than 50% of our games. At Isma, we lost him today with an injury, and also he goes to AFCON. So everything we are facing now, it's not surprisingly. So everything was pretty clear, and I always really. Didn't say anything, but today I think it's also time to speak about it. That we missed the chance to play even a better season in the summer.
Well, of course, we are going to talk about Oliver Glasner's comments, but I want to go back to what Ruben Amorim said about Manchester United. He said that he spotted the tiredness in Crystal Palace and told his players how to exploit that weakness. Just run us through, Alan, what they weren't getting right in the first half and what they needed to change in the second.
Well, you watch what happens in the first half in terms of a lack of effort, a lack of running, a lack of commitment, a lack of closing down. Crystal Palace on the ball, no pressure from Manchester United. One through ball beats 3 or 4 Manchester United players, and the tackle here is hopeless from De Ligt, and they're straight through, simply because the application wasn't there, the intensity wasn't there, the aggression wasn't there. You got far too much time on the ball, Crystal Palace. You give good players time, and they're gonna punish you, and they get into some really good positions. Same thing again. Look at the time Wharton's got on the ball. 3, 4, 5 touches before anyone even gets close to him. Then Kamada on the edge of the box. Look, there's no one near him. That should be in the back of the net. And all of a sudden, Amorim gets into his team at half-time. What's the difference in the second half? I mean, that is clear. The running is clear. The closing down is clear. The commitment is clear. That it is so much better in the second half. Where was this in the first half? And that's exactly what the manager's on about at the end of the game. That's why he was having a pop with his players at half-time, because this was not happening in the first half. OK, once they get through, but look at they actually win the second ball. It seems they're much more up for that fight in the second half, and they get the rewards. Look, there's no time for any Crystal Palace player to get on the ball, because there's always 2 or 3 players in and around them. I mentioned the second ball. What's the reaction when they lose it? I didn't see that in the first half. Man United fans didn't see that in the first half, and then all of a sudden they play on the front foot, they lose the ball. Look at that, the difference from the forward players, who would then all of a sudden chase them back. And absolutely, because Crystal Palace played in Europe on Thursday evening, and Man United had the full week to prepare. They didn't. They played on Monday evening. That should have happened from the off. They got away with it today, but you have to give him credit for the way he changed it and the way he got stuck into his players at half-time, because they were a different team in the second half.
Yeah, as Alan said, and as Oliver Glasner alluded to as well, one of the reasons that they spotted that tiredness in Crystal Palace is because they do have this intense run of fixtures. And this is what they've done after European games this season. Just the one win, and that was against Aston Villa, when Villa were playing really poorly at the start of the season and struggling to get results. It's been difficult for them to kind of to absorb those extra fixtures without, as Oliver Glasner said, really going in and investing in their squad, and having lost big-name players as well, Micah.
Yeah, I mean, the summer business, where Pino was very good, but if you just look up here, they made a profit in the summer, and when you're losing Eze and Ward and it was released, but in terms of a structure in the dressing room, Francia, Schlupp, and Edouard, and that's all you bring in. I mean, as a manager, you're thinking, I've won the FA Cup. I deserve a little bit more, and the fans are all thinking that at the same thing as well. But you have to be realistic as well. If you look where Palace are in the league this season, what they've done last season, who they can attract, I think that was a statement from the manager saying, Give me what I want, or I'm going to walk out at the end of the season because his contract's up.
And you can see there, 11 changes, which is the fewest of any side in the Premier League so far this season. Does it feel like a row that he's now having publicly?
Yeah, well, he's come out and said that. He said himself that he'd kept quiet for such a long time, and I guess he's got it in the bank because of the success they had last season. I think they're a very, very good team. They're a very good 11. But once you get through that 11 and you're going to get injuries and you're playing on Thursdays and Sundays, that is a big ask for those same players to keep going again and again and again. And clearly they can't do it.
There was one other thing you wanted to talk about from this game, which was the appearance of an old friend.
Some old guy made an appearance on our TV this afternoon. He's happy birthday to him. I was going to say he looks like a pensioner, and I thought he actually is one.
Got his free bus pass.
Free bus pass there, yeah.
To the stadium.
So rude.
He's looking well, though, at least. He's looking great. Happy birthday,
guys. You're looking for. Now, Wolves boss Rob Edwards made his Premier League debut.
What a turnaround at Selhurst Park. Manchester United have staged a massive comeback to defeat Crystal Palace 2-1, ending the Eagles' long unbeaten home run in the process. The first half drama. It didn't look good early on. Palace dominated the first half and took the lead through Jean-Philippe Mateta. And talk about drama, Mateta actually had his first penalty disallowed by VAR for a double touch, but he kept his cool to bury the retake. But the second half was all Manchester United. Ruben Amorim clearly rallied the troops because they came out flying. Joshua Zirkzee finally broke his goal drought, smashing in a brilliant equaliser from a tight angle off a Bruno Fernandes free kick. Just 9 minutes later, it was Mason Mount who played the hero. Another smart set-piece routine from Fernandes set him up on the edge of the box, and Mount rifled it home. A huge 2-1 victory and 3 vital points for the Red Devils.